Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on October 4th, 2012. And obviously it's 10 days before the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And at this point in time they only had about 5 matches on the card, and they did end up adding one more and including the also including Sting's tag team partner for the Bound for Glory match with Sting and against the Aces and Eights 2 members. First of all, I don't know if I actually like the whole putting Al Snow and Joey Ryan on the TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view itself. This feels like something more that could be resolved on Impact versus on their biggest pay-per-view of the year. I think it actually makes the card look a little bit weaker just because that match almost... It doesn't seem to... It has definitely got worth for Joey Ryan and all that storyline wise. It just doesn't seem like it really matters as much as they're putting into it at this point in time. That's just my personal thought on that particular match itself. And who knows, it could end up being a really good match. I mean, Al Snow's not a bad worker in the ring. Joey Ryan doesn't seem to be a bad worker either. Could be a fun and entertaining match in the end. But to me, it just feels like it kind of lessens the card itself, in my mind. Just for the terms of some of the matches that they had on Impact this week, the match with Chavo Guerrero and Kurt Angle was a stellar match, a really good match, very entertaining to watch, at least in my mind. Just good technical stuff that they were doing there, good work rate and everything. Great match, and thoroughly enjoyed it. They obviously also put some more emphasis onto putting Tara over, getting her a little bit more over going into her match with Miss Tessmacher at the pay-per-view as well. Obviously they'll probably be doing something again next week. Maybe they'll put Tessmacher over and make it look like, you know, they could go either way with whether or not who's going to win that match at the pay-per-view. Also another good match of the night was Samoa Joe and RVD. To me, that it was quick, it was fast-paced. It obviously didn't last too terribly long, but then again, I believe they put a shorter time limit towards the television championship, and in my mind, this obviously this leads for a faster pace, very entertaining matches in that sense in general. And the match itself was extremely well done. It was great. It's a great thing to see the television title going back on TV. It seems to be every week now. They might put it off next week because they have the title match on the pay-per-view itself with Samoa Joe and Magnus, and if anybody's been seeing that, they didn't do anything with the storyline for that this week, but if you've been seeing the storyline going into that, it's been pretty much, you know, Magnus kind of doing this condescending, half-assed complimentary stuff, towards Samoa Joe, into many of them. So this leads into their match at that pay-per-view. But there was no further development. Kind of wish there was a little bit, but hopefully we'll get some next week, right before the pay-per-view itself. The thoughts of putting Bully Ray to team up with Sting for the Aces and Eights match at the pay-per-view, it makes me feel like that particular tag match is more likely going to be the main event of the show, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to end up liking that. The fact it's not going to hurt the show at all if it ends up going on last or being the main event, but typically for your biggest show, unless it's something, you know, crazy and spectacular over the top, I feel that the title match should always go on last. But that's my own personal opinion of watching plenty of different pay-per-views. It always seems to be more important when the title match is last and is on the main event of the show. But in tow, the match with Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, and Austin Aries was a good triple threat match that obviously put Bully Ray over and decided to make him the tag partner for Sting at the pay-per-view going into the match with Aces and Eights. So good triple threat match there, and very entertaining to see. There was definitely a couple more here. You had Zema Ion and Douglas Williams as well in there. That it was a nice quick match that ended out with Zema Ion going over Douglas Williams and then eventually having the decision reversed. And maybe this will lead into something for getting the X Division title on the pay-per-view. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit weak in my mind, and for the X Division title, just in the terms that it doesn't have a lot of build-up going into its biggest pay-per-view of the year. And that's, once again, just my own personal opinion about that. So basically this leads into the whole Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries area. Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries have been kind of at each other's throats for the last couple of weeks, which is good because you don't really want a full face versus face being your big title match for your biggest pay-per-view. Obviously, they've been somewhat turning Austin Aries heel. It's a little bit harder to turn Jeff Hardy heel. They've done it before, but most of the fans just kind of want to cheer him. And you could see it tonight that they're trying to heel out Austin Aries because, you know, it was no more than a few months ago that crowd was going completely crazy for this guy. And just with his actions over the last couple weeks, I feel like they've done at least a decent job of healing him out for this one extra moment here. This is where I also feel like, you know, I feel like Bully Ray should be here in this main event area with the two of them, and it should have been another triple threat match for the title at the pay-per-view versus having him in the Aces and Ace match, teaming up with Sting, because this would be a good way to have the title match go on last. You'll probably have the reveal the reveal of the Aces and Eights leader into at the end of the pay-per-view, and more than likely you might even get the Aces and Eights to have the title going out of the pay-per-view as well, depending if they're making Bully Ray the leader or they're making somebody else the leader at that point in time. But in this sense, they've done a good enough job with Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries, at least in my mind, to make this a one-on-one match. You have somewhat of a clear-cut heel with Austin Aries and a clear-cut face with Jeff Hardy. Both of them have great work rate in the ring. Obviously, Aries can work either the face or the heel and do a very good job of it, and he's doing a very good job of it again here. And this is good, and it should just be a fun and entertaining match to watch as well at the pay-per-view itself. So hopefully that's what we'll end up getting. It's just a fun, entertaining match between the two of them. Maybe they'll fully heel out Austin Aries at that point in time, or they might, or he might just go back to kind of a face right after the pay-per-view after he's been dealing with Jeff Hardy. So that's pretty much all I've got for this week's TNA Impact, my review here. I do thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you